What's up, everyone? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm the Croc Nick.
And I'm Jammin' John.
And we have an album review for you. This one is actually a particularly special album review, considering it is the new album from Ozzy Osbourne, Ordinary Man. This is his first album in 10 years, and for all intents and purposes, might be his last, so 100% had to actually review this one. I don't think we really need to introduce Ozzy.
I mean, I hope not.
If you don't know who Ozzy is, first off, welcome to Planet Earth. Glad you came and checked it out. Second of all, amazingly influential musician across the board, but mostly in heavy metal. Founding member of Black Sabbath. Gigantic solo career.
Right?
This guy's a legend, and that's pretty much all you really need to know.
You know, I can't even fathom not knowing who Ozzy is, so...
Fucking Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
And a reality TV star show for a while. We don't like to remember that one. So on this album, we get some really cool session musicians on this one. We get Chad Smith of Red Hot Chili Peppers, who's a fantastic drummer, and Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses fame on bass. This is a really awesome listen, to be honest.
Yeah, I've had a great time, actually.
I really wasn't sure what to expect. The last couple of Ozzy albums, in my opinion, haven't been that great. I wasn't a big fan of Black Rain or Scream. This really just feels like an honest, kind of down-to-earth Ozzy album.
Yeah.
And that is
in all actuality, it's really kind of just dialed in. It's even epic in moments, so...
Really is. Straight to Hell opens up with choruses.
It opens up with the choral. It reminded me of Kenny Loggins, actually. The chorus did in the beginning of Caddyshack.
I had to admit that was pretty close, and of course, before everything really starts kicking off, you get the token Ozzy All Right Now, and right away I noticed the rhythm section shines on this production.
Yeah, the
bass is very audible, and the drum sound immaculate, and right away you can hear that Chad Smith is really throwing in his 2 cents in terms
for sure.
Of writing.
It adds kind of like almost like a funkiness, like,
it does.
Like Chad Smith has anyway, which really works cool for this record. It kind of gives it a new sound, even though it's Ozzy.
It 100% sounds like Ozzy, but those little flourishes really kind of add something a little new. Then the production, especially when it comes down to guitars, is really kind of all over the place as far as like tones and feels. Like sometimes you get these sullen sort of desert rock feels, and then sometimes you get these just big, epic, sludgy riffs.
I mean, an interesting notation would be that the guitarist is actually Post Malone's guitarist.
And we'll bring up Post Malone a little bit later.
At the end of the album.
But he's also the producer on this album, and he did a really good job both, producing and playing riffs and leads on this.
The guitar player, not Post Malone.
Yeah, no, not Post Malone. We'll get to that in a moment, promise. Right away, I really just dug the overall feel of this, and the next song, All My Life, starts off as like kind of a ballad, but it has that giant, big riffy chorus. Like, honestly, the first thing I thought of was like something like Road to Nowhere or See You on the Other Side. 2 songs I absolutely adore by Ozzy, and it really has that kind of feel of that kind of 90s Ozzy, the No More Tears, Osmosis sound. It's just huge, giant anthemic chorus, and I really just wasn't sure at this point Ozzy would have these sorts of songs in him anymore. It just really had to feel like he was just, like, fuck it. If this might be my last album, I'm going to go out with some strong songs.
I mean, while I imagine that his vocals are pretty processed at this point,
they are.
I don't expect a 71-year-old man to fucking hit, notes like he should. I mean, it's Ozzy. I mean, I know what Ozzy has done to himself, so...
The world knows what Ozzy has done to himself.
But it didn't stop him. As far as putting out, a pretty solid lyrical album, I mean, he really brought it.
It really feels very personal, and he's been very personal on other albums. This one really just centered in on him as a person, I think, sort of just kind of going through his long career and long life.
Yeah, almost like a Dewey Cox story, like a Walk Hard type thing. It seems like he kind of reflects on his life, and it almost seems like at times where, as far as lyrical content is concerned, like it feels like he's kind of pre-announcing like his actual retirement, like.
Yeah.
And it comes up in a song later down the line, but like kind of sounds like it's a
fond farewell, possibly.
Yeah.
Not saying that's for sure, but
Yep.
it kind of feels that way.
Yep. Please don't hone in on what we're saying as speculation to the end of Ozzy's career, but lyrically it sounds like that.
Now, the song "Goodbye" was one I thought was kind of a return to almost Sabbath-y stuff. The guitars bring in an ultra big fuzzy tone in spots, and there's an interesting up-tempo section on this. Now, I like the off-time rhythm on the chorus. When it breaks in this up-tempo section, it really doesn't feel like anything he's done in a long time. Like, it's notably very fast. And the tone on here really reminded me of a band like Queens of the Stone Age, when they just kind of bring this big, squealy, not necessarily metal, but a heavy, raw rock sound. And I really, really just kind of enjoyed this break from the norm, because I didn't really expect that. I kind of expected it was going to stay more mid-tempo throughout, and it caught me off guard. And I really enjoyed that. The only thing I could say on this track that I didn't like was how they broke up this up-tempo moment.
Yeah.
Where it felt like it should have been like this giant bridge and just let it rip for a while. It kind of goes back to the more mid-tempo section, pre-chorus and chorus, and then goes back to this fast section. This fast section should have been one giant chunk. And it should have been an awesome...
Yeah, there should have been no reason it was separated the way it was. Now, I mean, again...
Don't take me out of my groove.
yeah. And Chad Smith really kind of ups his game on this song, too. He shines a lot throughout this record, but this is the song where you can feel him kind of hone in on, who he is as a drummer, and lets a lot of what he brings to the album later on kind of shine right now. Next in line is Ordinary Man. This is the song that features Elton John. I mean, of course, you would automatically think that it would start as like a ballad opener, which it does.
It does.
But what I noticed as the song went on is it really could be either an Ozzy song or an Elton John song, and I have a complaint about neither.
No, I love both.
I actually thought this was a really, really awesome song.
It's epic and giant, and I mean, honestly, it kind of gets you in the feels a little bit, because once again, it's this very somber song about his life, and it's very somber, but it's also very epic, and it feels like, honestly, one of the most personal songs on here. Like, this is Ozzy bearing a soul.
And the guitar solo in this song actually really kind of hits home for this song too, as far as the vibe is concerned. It's got this really, really just solid solo that fits the mood of the song.
And I can knock power ballads because generally they just seem cheesy and like, oh, this will get you the fucking girlfriend or whatever. But this song feels sincere, like it just wasn't written to be a giant radio single. Like, this feels like actually both Elton John and Ozzy sat down, and this is kind of a microcosm of both their lives, because they both had the rock star life. And I just really love this song, and it's the softest song on here by a mile.
Yes.
But it's beautiful. It really is.
In fact, in the end, it ends with like a string section. And
it's gorgeous.
It really just... It dials in on the emotion of the song.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Now, Under the Graveyard was a song that was released last year in November, and that was the one that everyone was starting to get used to. And honestly, I think it's another super strong song on here. Now, granted, I've had more time with the song to listen to it, and the first thing I took away from it was, man, this has that Black Sabbath feel. But the thing I love on this song is the chorus. The chorus is absolutely gigantic. And how that chorus part, that first punch where he says "Under the Graveyard," it leads into the giant big riffy section after it, and this song delivers on that one. It kind of reminded me of like a more epic version of The Sword, which, I mean, I'm sure The Sword are familiar with Black Sabbath and Ozzy as well.
Yeah, I got reminded of High on Fire too at times. Next in line was the song "Eat Me."
I'm sure there's subtext.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure that makes sense somewhere. I'm not gonna get in. I don't really even want to know. I don't. But it's got a really, really beefy bass intro. I'll be honest.
Harmonica too.
Yeah, and harmonica. I'll be honest. This song sounds to me like a mixture between Black Label Society around like the 1919 Eternal era, or COC's Wise Blood.
COC, yeah. That's what I got right away. I could actually hear Pepper singing on this one.
And the drums have this really fat tone to them. It's a rockin' song. That's pretty much all I have to say about that song.
I love the really dreary bridge on it, but it somehow sounds really just kind of epic once again. Epic is definitely a theme that goes across this album for the most part, but it still captures that dreary, sullen feeling. Like, I mean, this is, one of the guys that helped, pretty much solidify metal as a genre over and over, but this is also the guy that helped us figure out what doom metal was, too. And parts of this song, you kind of get that feeling. Today is the End was another really cool one. We both kind of looked at each other for a little bit when we were listening. It was like, why does that guitar tone sound familiar? And it's very similar to the opening of the song Floods by Pantera. And again, another really awesome, sullen song. But the thing I took away from this one that I thought was interesting is the chorus is almost poppy, if it weren't for the tone and the subject matter of the song. Like, it could actually fit in a more, like, poppy song.
It's a very melodic chorus.
It is.
Like, there's a lot going on. I mean, I don't want to say, like, instrumentation-wise, but I mean, vocally, there's a lot going on.
There's kind of a poppy hook to it. Not bad at all. I thought it was really good, but interesting thing to note. And then Scary Little Green Men featured Tom Morello, and probably the least Tom Morello-y song I've heard.
Yeah, you know what? If I wouldn't have saw on the album that it had Tom Morello on it, I wouldn't have known Tom Morello was on it. I didn't hear really anything that alluded to his guitar playing style.
Yeah, nothing. I was expecting sort of his like token odd solos that he does, and really didn't get it. It just kind of just was a good riffy song. It was a little weird. I mean, it's about aliens. It's Ozzy talking about aliens. And I'm
gonna be honest. The lyrics during the chorus are hokey as fuck.
They are, but it was kind of a nice break from the more sullen, personal stuff. He's still lighthearted. It wasn't just going to be about eat me and shit like that. I was like, no, fuck it, we're going to do a song about aliens.
It's a really fun song.
It is.
I think out of all the songs on the album, this is probably the one that shows the most, maybe like the humorous side of Ozzy, I would say at this point. It's almost like a joke. It's almost like,
it is.
Here's this. Do what you want with it.
There is sort of an interesting thing that fits with the theme on this song too, with the little space rock sort of bridge on there. It reminded me a lot of Hawkwind. I mean, what more perfect song could you have for a space rock moment than a song about aliens?
And it's got this kind of cool piano part in it, but it's not like playing a piano and having a bunch going on. It's more of like it hits like
the single note, and it's just
single note. It almost gives it like a honky tonk feel.
Yeah, Holy for Tonight, big dirge like what should have been a closer. I really like the slide guitars on here. Great use of the backup vocals. I really thought that was very comparable to like Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here or Dark Side of the Moon. I really liked this song. It was just one of those things where if you're just a fan of music, I think you would really appreciate this song.
And lyrically, this is the song I was talking about where it... this is what I believe alludes to Ozzy's like, here it is, here's all I've done with my life, I hope you guys had fun, I had fun, will people remember me? Like, I think he's alluding towards possible actual retirement.
I mean, he's 71.
He's 71.
He's had the longest rock in his life.
Yep. So
now, it could have ended there on a really, really somber but cool note. But it didn't. We had 2 more tracks. And
I'll be honest, I would have given this album a higher rating had it not been for these 2 final tracks. Post Malone is stupid. I'm sorry. I think it's cool of Ozzy to invite someone that is definitely in a different culture musically, than what metalheads are used to. I think it's a great idea, but the problem is that both of these could have been B-sides on a Post Malone album. It could have been Post Malone featuring Ozzy, especially the last track.
Yeah,
Look, we turned it off. We made it like probably 2.5 minutes in.
We made it more than halfway, but it wasn't getting any better, to be honest.
And I just, Nick looked at me and I looked at Nick and I was just like, dude, fuck this.
I couldn't do it. Now, the It's a Raid track is stylistically different, even without Post Malone in it. It's more of a punk track, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of an odd track. It has these really terrible auto-tuned vocals on it. It almost sounds like Mickey Mouse is his backup singer.
Dude.
It's not good. And then Post Malone contributes some clean vocals, which, I mean, they weren't terrible, but
they were auto-tuned, dude.
Yeah, they were auto-tuned as well, and it doesn't feel as real as the rest of the album.
The only savior I think in this song, besides like the punk feel to it, was at the very end you get like this kind of sludgy Sabbath riff.
Yeah.
Like okay, there was a redeeming factor but
Take What You Want has no redeeming factors in my mind. I just don't like the song. For an Ozzy song, it has a distinct lack of Ozzy. He's in the intro part, and then the rest of it is just taken over by Travis Scott and Post Malone. And I didn't buy either one of their albums. I bought an Ozzy album.
Right.
And having a guest spot is fine. But if they're taking over the entire song, that's really not a guest spot. That's pretty much their song. They've almost staked their claim on it.
Yeah, again, being a guest star on an album, man, I mean, you hear it in metal all the time. You get a verse, maybe you come together on the chorus, but I mean, it's more like, hi, I'm here guesting, all right, I'm leaving now.
Just ask Soulfly. They know that one.
Right.
They know that one well. This isn't how I wanted this album to cap off because it was
Epic.
really, really great. Like, this was a shock. I didn't think Ozzy had it in him to do this kind of album, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect,
never have lost
to be
faith.
honest. I wasn't sure what to expect, to be honest, and I thought, if anything, it was just going to be an Ozzy album, and it'd be a good jam in terms of, nostalgia moments and whatnot.
And there were plenty of those, but there was plenty of just new stuff that was really good.
A new direction, a new vision.
Yeah, overall, man, I dug this album, minus those last two songs. We're probably going to labor that point. But the bulk of this album, the heart of this album, is 100% Ozzy, and he's firing on all cylinders on this one. I'm going to give it 4 stars. This is excellent. This is really, really good. And if you're a fan of Ozzy, there's a good chance you're going to go out and get this. And if you're just a fan of music, go out and get this.
Yeah.
It's really just great.
I agree with Nick here. Aside from the last 2 songs, in my opinion, the album ended it holy for tonight. If those last 2 songs were not in existence, I would have given it a 5 because it's that damn good. I'm giving it a 4. On the record, I'm giving it a 4. Off the record, I'm giving it a 4.25. I really enjoyed the shit out of this album. It took me down many nostalgic paths. It took me down a road,
To nowhere?
A road to nowhere. Ha! A road definitely not yet traveled by Ozzy, and I had a great time. Again, that Elton John song is just killer.
It's beautiful.
I am definitely foreseeing myself jamming this album at least a few more times, minus the last 2 songs. Killer fucking listen, though. And like Nick said, too, if you're just a fan of music in general, if Ozzy's not your bag, I mean, you're gonna dig this album.
Yeah.
I would stake my reputation on it.
How much of a reputation do we have?
I don't know. We have at least 830 subscribers worth of reputation, so it's something.
So, if you like the review, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, sub. Because if you sub, you are entered in our Cryptopsy hoodie giveaway. Once we hit 1,000 subs, one of you lucky subs is going to get a cool Cryptopsy hoodie. Figure that's incentive right there.
Yep.
So, you guys keep it metal, and we'll see you again soon.
Later.